your Sunday school teacher for at least the first part of the semester. And today I think we're going to take a look in our memory treasure box here. Actually, I will not look, but I'm going to choose one of these because we do have a few of them from our second set. So I'll choose one and we'll see if we can maybe remember. Let me pick one here. Okay. Oh, some of you might possibly use this as a table prayer. This memory treasure says, "The eyes of all look to you, O Lord, and you give them their food in due season." That means at the right time. We had this memory treasure when we thought about how Joseph was sold to be a slave in Egypt, but then God used that horrible experience in his life for good, because last time we heard how Joseph became a ruler in Egypt. In fact, the second most powerful man in all of Egypt. And Joseph's own family came there for food. He was able to invite them to come there and stay. And now we're going to move ahead in time. We're going to hear about what happened with the descendants of Joseph's family. First of all, many years went by, and during this time, all of Joseph's family had children, and their children had children. So now there was a great number of people, they were called the Israelites, who were living away from home in the land of Egypt. And the rulers in Egypt were called pharaohs. A pharaoh came to power who knew nothing about Joseph. He didn't know anything about these Israelites, but he was worried. He was worried that there were getting to be too many of them. So he thought to himself, I need to weaken them. In fact, he wanted to get rid of the Israelites altogether. So this Pharaoh was a wicked king. And he made a very wicked rule. He said, all of the baby Israelite boys are to be thrown into the river, the Nile River in Egypt, and drowned. What a horrible thing. So they should all be killed. But that way, the Israelites would be very weak, and soon there would be none of them left. That is what Pharaoh was hoping. But in our lesson today, we're going to hear about how God chose one of these baby boys, a special baby boy named Moses. And Moses was going to lead God's people out of Egypt to a land that God had promised to them, the land of Canaan. Now in the Bible, if you were to read these lessons about Moses, you would be reading in the second book of the Old Testament, not Genesis, that's the first one, but now you're hearing lessons from the book of Exodus. So as I said, Pharaoh commanded that all of the baby boys from Israel should be thrown into the Nile River. But there was an Israelite woman who had a baby boy, and she didn't want him to die, so she hid her baby boy for 3 months, but then he became too big to hide. You know, babies cry. So he maybe was noisy, and this is what she thought to do. She made a basket for the baby, and she put him in the basket, and then she took some pitch or sap from the trees, sticky pitch it would be called, or sap, and she put it on the outside of the basket so that it would be waterproof. She took the baby to the Nile River by the edge of the water, where some big tall water plants called reeds grew. Maybe you might have seen something like that if you've ever been fishing before. And then she had the baby's sister watch out for him. Now the baby's sister was a young girl named Miriam. The baby's mother said to Miriam to watch and see what would happen to their baby. And it so happened that Pharaoh's own daughter came down to the river to wash. She was the princess in Egypt, and she had with her some of her maids, some of her helpers. And as they came down to the water, she was looking at those reeds, and she saw a little tiny bit of that basket sticking out. So Pharaoh's daughter said to her maids, "We'll see what that is. I would like to know what that is. That I can see something sticking out from behind the rushes there, the reeds." So one of her helpers took out the basket, and in the basket, of course, was the baby boy. And when Pharaoh's daughter saw the baby, she said, "Oh, he's so precious, I would like him to be my baby." She took the little boy, and she wanted him for her very own. Now Miriam had been watching this, and Miriam was a smart little girl. She went over and spoke to Pharaoh's daughter, and she said, "I see that you have a baby there." Pharaoh's daughter said, "Yes, he must be one of the Israelite children." So Miriam said, "Well, you're going to need someone to help you care for that baby. Would you like me to help you find someone?" And Pharaoh's daughter said, "Yes." So Miriam ran home to her very own mother, and she said, "You'll never guess. The princess found our baby, and she wants someone to care for him. So I said I would find someone." And that is how the little baby's own mother was able to care for him. In fact, Pharaoh's daughter said, "Why don't you just take him home until he gets a little bigger?" And she gave him a name. She called him Moses. And that word means taken out, because he was taken out of the water. So God caused Moses to be saved, for one thing. And then he caused Pharaoh's daughter to be the one to find him, so that when he got bigger, he would grow up in Pharaoh's household and he would learn about being a leader, which was going to be important. But also, God caused Moses to be able to live with his own sister, Miriam, and their mother, and to be raised at home when he was very young, so that they could teach him all about the true God in heaven. So once again, we see how all of these things that happened turned out for good. Our memory treasure is about how God is a safe place for us. God kept Moses safe, and he keeps us safe too. Our memory treasure today says, God is our refuge, that's a safe place, and strength, a very present help in trouble. So whatever our trouble is, God is able to take care of us and to be a safe place for us. Now, I don't think anyone's going to throw us into the river, but there is someone who wants to take us away from God, and that is the devil. And God says, "No, you can't have them because these children belong to me." God says that he is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. So if there is something frightening or something worrying us, we can always ask God, and he will be on our side.